Good morning. Banger. Oh. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend Bill? How are you this Monday morning? How is everybody doing? What a day, what a day, what a day. Good morning. Is it just you and me, Bill? You and me together. I can't see me loving nobody but you. For all my life. That was really bad. I can't. I'm not. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, Derek Anderson. How are you, my friend? It's just us. I don't know what's going on. Good morning. There's Trent. There's CCS. Good morning. Good morning, Justin. Good morning, Flower. Good morning. There we are. Now, there's our friends. See, Bill, we were just like hanging out by the coffee table, waiting for the doors to open, the double doors. Someone comes by and they hit like the stopper on one of the doors. You gotta kick the door stopper down, or you reach up top, and you do the one up top. I don't know how it works, but like I know the kick stomp, like the door. You open up the double doors and like in comes the flood of folks. You know what I'm saying? There's the Watts. Now we got a swap meet going on. You know what I mean? I'm taking all the way back to like the Pershing Auditorium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Good morning, Cleany. Good morning, friends. Good morning, good morning. I'm taking all the way back to Pershing Auditorium, Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm about 10, 11 years old. And my mom, it's my mom and I, mom and me and my mom, whatever the English syntactical, syntaxcular. My mom and I, me were, if you take the mom out, you go me were, me. Anyhow, 11 years old, Pershing Auditorium, Lincoln, Nebraska, down in the basement. You head down in there, and it's a swap meet, the Pershing swap meet. And my mom has a booth. She's working with my grandparents at the time, who have a clothing outlet store thing, women's apparel and jewelry. I don't remember exactly, but they go down to swap meets or they go to hotel shows, and they bring their clothes. My grandpa Bob would take the big old van, the big red van, and he would haul his wares to different like locales, and set up and like be the handshaky guy, and like hey fella, or hey ma'am, or hey whomever, and try and like sell his wares, and his entire garage was full. I mean, full of jewelry. And I was like, what's going on with the jewelry? And like, it's wackadoo, And so, like, I would go to these swap meets, and there I am, little 11-year-old, like, wackadoo, weird little kid selling, women's clothes and watches. I sold finger watches, rings, finger ring watch. I sold finger ring watches. Good morning. Good morning, Jolie. Good morning. Good morning, Pacers. Oh, it's alright. It's alright. I hope we bring them on down. Bring them on down. It's okay. Bring them on down, Bill. Bring them on down. We got to bridge the crossover, okay? We got to bridge the crossover. Now, for the real, Waz. For the real, by the foot, okay? By the foot. All right, people were making money off of me as I'm making money off them. All right, people were making money off of me as I was making money off of them. 1 second. There we go. All right, and so it was like surreal to my mom, she at one point, she goes, why don't you bring some of your stuff down? Bring your cards. Do you want to sell any of your baseball cards? I'm like, yeah, of course I want to sell my baseball cards. Of course I want to sell these things. I know what the value of these things are. And yes, I want to sell these things. And she goes, yeah, okay, bring it on down. And I had sold my baseball cards. And I shouldn't have sold my baseball cards. Don't ever sell things that gain value like baseball cards, okay? Unless they're really crappy baseball cards, which apparently I had. At one point, someone grabbed the Ryan Sandberg card that I had. It wasn't a rookie, it was a Ryan Sandberg, some Ryan Sandberg card. And they're like, how much is this? And I, because I was the good card salesman, had the Topps mint card price guide, and like you had to have that like displayed in front, so people are like, oh, all right, you know where the prices are, and it's like, yeah, I know exactly where the prices are. So I'm looking in in the book, and it's like, I want $2 for this card. Okay. There's like 5 cents for this card. I'll take the 5 cents. I'm the guy that's like, yeah, if it's 5 cents, I'll take five. Thank you, 5 cents. You know what I mean? I'll deal with a nickel if you're gonna deal with my card. All right, get the card out of here. I'll take the nickel. Okay, I can spend the nickel on stuff that I can burp. Okay, all right. You are gonna always have to hold on to that nickel. That's the thing. So, boo, 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 doo. Let's do that. Let's just do that. I can do that. And anyhow, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. So Pershing Auditorium, I'm down there, and what 11, 10 or 11 selling stuff, and it's just like the whole. I can hear it still, like the whole the chaos of it all. The swapping of things, the coins changing, the bits bitten, the cash cashing, the cows cowing, whatever the hell you want to call it, like good morning everybody, by the way, as I'm telling this silly little story, right? As I'm telling this silly little, but money's moving, right? Good morning Calico, good morning Herbie, by the way, good morning to my moderators. Real quick, as an aside, as I'd, an aside, as aside, I want to say thank you and good morning to Herbie and Derek Anderson. Both, I think, are the two most unheralded aspects of at least my participation in this silly little thing that we call hanging out with each other. Alright? I just want to say that these two take it upon themselves to show up out of nowhere and moderate goofballs and care what goofballs had to say. Take it upon themselves to be the guys that push the buttons so that I don't have to push the buttons. I like pushing buttons, though, obviously. But I want to say, they show up every day. Every day. Every day. And I don't pay them shit. Okay? It's for free. I don't even know if it's for fun. It can't be. It can't be. Watching humans just be gross humans. Just be stupid humans. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be. You know what it's like? And I'm not trying to trash on people that, like, may or may not ever know that I ever existed past this moment that I watched. But this weekend, we put all our all our crap, we'll say crap, all our junk. I have like a weird, my mom and, Pops and my mom are both Marines, so I have like weird little Marine terminology in my head. So whenever I say trash, and I'm like, get your trash out of here, like, man, we got a lot of trash. Like, I don't mean that in like a disparaging trash way, unless there's actually also trash in there. I'm just saying, like, if I ever call like any of our shit trash stuff, My language is trash. If I ever call any of that, just know that like I'm just being like goofy. Anyhow, so I put it all out there. It's trash. Alright, Jeff comes by. Dan comes by. Badgie comes by. Three amigos. Dan comes by and grabs the grow tents, and he's like, hey, you've been holding on to these grow tents? I'm like, yeah, dude, they're yours. Alright, killer. What he doesn't know, what Dan doesn't know, is that there was a church lady that came by earlier this week that wanted the grow tents. She absolutely needed the grow tents. She did not want me to give the grow tents away. She put them by the garage. I think you guys remember me telling the story, Dan. I don't even know if Dan's here. It's fine, Dan. You can watch later. Dan, what I'm saying is Dan grabs the tent, he does his thing, skedaddles on out. He skedaddles at the right time, by the way. This is when it all starts peaking, okay? This is when it all starts really getting wild out there, okay? All for free, by the way, okay? I started the story off telling you about Pershing Auditorium selling stuff there. It's wares and clinks and trinks and blinks and winks and, you know, stuff, everything. You know, you got fried foods, you got stuff and blah, you know what I mean? You got stuff, okay? But you gotta pay money to be there. Sometimes you gotta pay admission to get into a swap meet. Janky. But I've been to them. California's got them. They love charging you to go spend money. Anyhow, Saturday, Dan grabs his grow tents and he skedaddles on out. Glad he was here. He tried to give us money again, and I looked at Dan as if he was about to stab me in the, as if he was about to like troll my feed, as if he was about to sing out of key. You know what I mean? How dare you? And he was all aghast. I'm like, Dan, get out of here. Look at everything around us. We got humans being humans. Hold on. And he's like, no, I don't want to hold on. I gotta get out of here. So he skedaddles. Dan's been skedaddling for the last 5 minutes, by the way. Okay? Another guy comes by. And he starts looking through all their stuff. And we've got a table of tools over here that have maybe a little bit of value. So we're trying not to give like this table stuff over here. You know, but like we also got this table of stuff over here that maybe I'll charge you for, but like if you really want it and I see it upon you to where you're like, God, you need it, I'm like, yeah, you know what, take it. If you can fit it on a tray and you want the tray too, take it with you. I don't care. You know, so that's me, right? This dude comes by. Money? No way am I looking in that direction. And I was like, oh, alright. And so he goes over there. That's the beginning. That's when it starts to peak. That's when it peaks, because you get sense, like, oh, I'm not here. I'm not here to spend money. I'm like, oh, all right, here we go. Woo! Okay, so Dan leaves. I think Jeff is still inside. Pops is still inside. Truck, like, screeches to a halt in front of the driveway. The church lady pops out. Rushes up the driveway. I think I'm late. Yeah, you're like 5 days late. Yeah, you're 5 days. Are my tents gone? Your tents. Oh! What? You came back? What are you... Whoa! Alright, No, they're gone. Really? How long ago did someone take them? I heard that a lot this weekend. Free stuff, by the way, free stuff. Okay, free stuff. How long ago did someone take this? Like, what are you thinking you're gonna do? Are you gonna like triangulate them? Are they walking? Maybe if I run them down with my car, I can get the free thing that I wanted maybe because I saw it 5 days ago. And I was like, I gave Dan a 3 hour head start. It was about 3 hours ago. It was about 3 hours ago, actually. Dan left about a half hour before she got there. Okay, so left that. All right, I gave him a 3 hour head start. That was about 3 hours ago, and I apologize for that. I wish I did everything I could. Okay, and so she was like, by the power of everything, I want to. I understand, and she was she was totally respectful about it. She's like, I know, and then she bailed out. She didn't take anything else. All right. So that was like, all right, the wild's going. The wild's going. Another lady, she comes by. Hey, so let me get this and this and this, and so that's this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, get it. Another guy, he's coming by. Hey, let me get this, this, and this, and let me get this and this, and he's asking questions. I'm like, so I'm trying to I'm moving stuff from here to there. I'm taking stuff into, from the driveway to other people's, to your car. I'm that guy. I'm making sure that you take everything. Is why I'm taking everything. Not because I'm nice. I'm making sure it's gone. I'm making sure it gets in your car, and then you have to take it. Okay? That's all I'm doing. I'm not a nice guy at all. Alright? None of that, me being, genuine, and me being sweet, and sir, no. No. This is me long gaming for Tuesday afternoon, so I don't have to see the shelving units still sitting in our driveway. No, I'll absolutely help you break that down. Get that out of here, right? So, boom. And yeah, I'm kidding. I'm trying to be a nice guy. Hopefully I'm overplaying the grossness of it. Because this lady was setting aside a little pile for herself. And this guy was setting aside a little pile for himself. And this guy was packing all of his stuff up. And he skedaddles on out. The lady starts packing up her stuff. And then she melts down. He stole my metal thing! What? You're what? What did he? We have a factory remote! Turns out the guy had grabbed a metal thing that goes on top of a metal table, and I don't know if he knew that she had set it aside for herself or whatever, but he grabbed it and skedaddled on this is the same guy that went through the actual trash pile, the trash pile, and was like, what do you got in here? And so I understand that he's just grabbing stuff, right? Lady, on the other hand, is just, right? And I get it. Because in that moment, I'm like, you got robbed? At my garage sale? Wait. You got robbed of free stuff you were taking from me before it even left my garage sale? So someone just took it for free? Oh! And I gave her credit. I was like, look, that's a bummer, lady. I know that you were missing. I know you were probably thinking about it. And it's all in your head, and you were like, I'm gonna work with this. And so I totally understand. That's kind of shady. It's you know what I mean? I'm sorry about that. And I didn't want to point out it says free on a sign and kind of everywhere, right? I don't know. I thought that was hilarious though. Okay. Not once in my young years of swap meets at the Pershing Auditorium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Saturdays and Sundays, where you gotta pay for your hot dogs. Unless you got a ticket because you're a vendor, and my mom doesn't want, she gives me her ticket too. So I got 2 tickets, so I can go get 2 hot dogs. Because I'm an 11-year-old growing boy, and it's like I felt like that was my payment for the work. And she's like, "That's your payment for work." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take your ticket, absolutely, thank you." Hot dog, yeah, pay me with food. Yeah, I love it. And so I work, I ate hot dogs, and that was a lot of fun. Not once did someone steal someone else's metal thing for free out of someone's driveway. Or out of the Pershing Auditorium, I suppose. Not once. Free. Just saying. Humans be humaning. You know what I mean? Humans be humaning. Good morning. It was a lot of fun, Bill. It was a lot of fun. So anyhow, that's really what did I? Oh, I was gonna show you. All right. So the past week has been pretty crazy, and I'm gonna show you the coolest thing that I found, that I rescued, that's mine. All right, that I'm taking. All right, it's mine now. All right. And then we'll get to the book, because we haven't gotten to the book. We'll do the book. I don't know what the craziness of the show is going to be like when it comes to how we're going to connect to wherever we're connecting and such and such. We'll talk, and blah. We should be here tomorrow, doing it and so on and so on. But I'm going to grab the coolest thing that I found, and I'll show that to you, and then we'll get into the book, and then we'll have a good day. So all right, hold on, folks, hold on. Talking of, I'm over here. I'm over at Timbuktu, looking for this thing that I found. Right behind you. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So, I found a lot of tackle box stuff. I found some fishing poles. And some gear. And so I might be able to talk to... Well, I already broke it. That's great. So I already talked to Captain Jeff. For those of you who know who Captain Jeff is, it's awesome. He's a good guy. It's probably the worst idea I've had in a long time. I'm breaking stuff over here. I'm trying not to throw anything else away, but apparently I have to throw all this. Anyhow, so what I found is called dragon tail, or a Tenkara rod. You're gonna be like, what's up with the Tenkara rod? Let me show you. Alright, so it's there it is, right? You can put kind of it's not very sturdy when it comes to putting a reel, so you probably don't need a reel. Oh, really? Also, this thing is super light. You know how light this thing? This thing is maybe 3 ounces. Ooh, and it's super. It's bound. Oh, it's beautiful, right? Oh, all right. So then you take the tip off, and let's see if we can get this. All right. So let's go to the. Yeah, we can go there. Let's go connect 4. I think we can do this. Oh, see, there's more. Alright, there's more. I know there is. Anyhow, this thing is super long. And it's like a Japanese fly fishing rod. And inside of here somewhere, right here. Anyhow, inside of there is the lure. Is the little tip of the lure thing. Man, I don't know why it didn't come out. I'm 14. I'm 14. Sorry about that, folks. I really am. I'm 14, and I like being 14. That's really... Alright. So this is my Tenkara rod. And you can take it out of the thing, replace it. Anyhow, this is the coolest thing I found in a long friggin' time. So, totally stealing this from Pops. This is mine. I think I switched out the Titanic and all of my Lego for wanting to go be a fisherman. That's what I think happened. Anyhow, grab that, and let's. Everybody's free to feel good. Brother and sister, together we'll make it through. I know we'll find a way. Let's see. And I'll be there helping you out. Yeah, I think that's how the song goes. Alright, we're gonna dibble dabble, dibble dabble, dibble. A little dibble dabble do ya, is what I'm saying. Let's do this, we'll get to the book, and let's just have a good day, folks. I love it. Thanks for spending the day with me. Thanks for being here, and being you so I can be me. I like that. Thanks for being you so I can be me. Yeah. A little clog will do you there, huh? Alright, that's dibble. Sorry about that. It should have been like dabble dooble already. Dabble, come on now, dooble, last one, here we go. I'm gonna tell you, you get what you pay for when it comes to the quality of things that you buy around here. Am I right? Am I right? For those of you that smoke, whatever it is that you smoke. Yeah, that's a dirty cough. That's a dirty cough. That's the kind of cough that makes you not want to smoke anymore. Are we not choosing kindness? Are we not? Who cares? I love them. It's a good Monday. I love it. Bring them on out. Here, bring them on out. Moderators, you know what's about to happen. Here comes like the absolute permission to be whoever the hell people decide they want to be. Because we're going to learn about politics. We're going to learn more and more about politics. And we've been reading from this book called The Politics Book, and we've been trying to determine, whether or not we're allowed to vote, whether or not we're allowed to be individuals within a state or within a home. We're trying to figure out whether or not we're allowed to. With what we learned last time, the passions of individuals should be subjected. Isn't that? All right, let's just. I think we might have missed that one. I think we skipped that. Didn't we? I think we skipped that. I think we were like, you know what? Let's not do that one. The passions of individuals. In 1790, British had one of the first about Cogent began to read entitled Reflections on. Yeah, all right. No, that was Edmund Burke just being a real turd about the French Revolution, and he's like, you guys are being animals. You guys need rules. Like, all right. So let me go turn the light up real quick, and let's get to rights dependent on property are the most precarious. Finger. Rights dependent upon property are the most precarious. Now, the disclaimer is just a statement. If you get political while we're learning about politics, you're getting in the way. I'm not reading your book, am I? You didn't write this. If I am reading your book, welcome to the chat. Rights dependent on property are the most precarious. Thomas Paine. The English Revolution, which reached the peak of its radicalism with the trial and execution of King Charles I in 1649. So the English had their revolution, and they had to restore and reform their own rule, right? So 1649. Remember that. That's 1649. And then you shove on up to like 1770. Like, it seems like almost every 100 years or so, you have like some big political power reforming itself, especially around these times. With the trial and execution of King Charles I in 1649 had fizzled out by the end of the 17th century. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 had seen the restoration of the monarchy, now subordinate to Parliament, and the stabilization of the British state. So England has now gone from a full monarchy to a representative democracy and monarchy. Okay, so and the stabilization of the British state. No formal constitution was written, and the brief experiment with the Republic under Oliver Cromwell was over. The new government was a hybrid made of a corrupt and unrepresentative lower house in the Commons, a corrupt and unelected upper house in the Lords, and a monarch who was still nominally head of state. In 1689, Bill of Rights that set out the parameters for the new government was a compromise that satisfied few, least of all those most obviously excluded from it: the Irish, Catholics, and nonconformists, the poor and the artisans, even the more prosperous middle classes and employees of the state. It was from this milieu that Thomas Paine emerged. So these are all the disaffected people. All right, the disaffected, the people that aren't even like aren't even included in the Bill of Rights. Like when the corrupt people are like, yeah, we're kind of corrupt. Let's fix things, and then like no one gets help. At least out of these people, which are, let's go through them again: the Irish, the Catholics, the nonconformists, the poor, the artisans, like the people that make the fence posts, the toppings, like or like the people that like design your buildings, or like, okay, see, the artisans, even the more prosperous middle classes and employees of the state, asked out. He still got no power. Thomas Paine emerged, emigrating to America in 1774. I'm out of this here. I'm out of here. No way am I going to be okay living here. Thomas Paine skedaddles out 1774. In a series of incendiary and wildly popular pamphlets, he sought to reclaim arguments for democracy and republicanism that had been made during Cromwell's time. In Common Sense, published anonymously in Philadelphia in 1776, Paine made the case for a radical break by Britain's North American colonists from both the British Empire and constitutional monarchy. Like Hobbes and Rousseau before him, he argued that people come to form natural attachments to each other, creating a society from individuals. As these attachments of family, friendship, or trade become more complex, they in turn create a need for regulation. These regulations are systematized into laws, and a government is erected to create and enforce those laws. These laws are intended to act for the people, but there are too many people to make collective decisions. Democracy is required to elect representatives. Democracy, Paine held, was the most natural way to balance the needs of society with those of government. Voting would act as the regulating instrument between society and government, allowing society to shape government so that it more closely corresponds to social needs. I think we've seen that happening around here. We've seen dips and peaks, and we've seen comings and goings within our legal system, within every, like, prohibition. Institutions such as monarchy were unnatural, since the hereditary principle stood apart from society as a whole. Wait, so just because he's your dad? What? Just because? That doesn't make any sense. Really? Just because just because that's your mom? Just because your uncle? Really? Just because you were a third cousin inside of a marriage that failed because of Oliver Cromwell? Well, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, let's go with that, right? That's what the English had. Institutions such as the monarch were unnatural, since the hereditary principles stood apart from society as a whole, and monarchs could act in their own interests. Yeah, just because of my uncle. Thank you very much. Even a mixed state with a constitutional monarchy, as advocated by John Locke, would be dangerous, since a monarch could easily obtain more power and circumvent laws. Paine believed it was better to do away with the monarch entirely. It followed that America's best course of action in its war with the British Empire was to refuse any compromise on the issue of the monarchy. Only with full independence could a democratic society be built. Look, go away, King George. Just go away. We don't need any help. Get out of here. Go on. Skedaddle. But they wouldn't, would they? Only with full dependence could Paine's clear and unequivocal call for a democratic republic was an immediate success in the midst of the Revolutionary War against the British Empire. Remember, we had done the Boston Tea Party. We were at this point, like, we were just like, get out of our lives. Like, you know, like Britain was just micromanaging like everything. We're just like, go away. If you're not gonna be here, go away. You know, and like that's all. It's like, get out of here. You know, and like they wouldn't. And so now Thomas Paine's like, yeah, get out of here. You know, like, all right, yeah. Returning to England in 1787, he visited France 2 years later and became a firm supporter of the French Revolution. This dude is just stoking the fire. This dude is... Thomas Paine is basically the gasoline that we threw on the Boston Tea Party. And then, boop, here we go. Now we're a revolution. On returning from France, Paine had a rude awakening. Edmund Burke, a politician and one of the founders of modern conservative thought, had strongly supported the rights of American colonies to independence. Burke and Paine had been on friendly terms since Paine's arrival back in England, but Burke had ferociously denounced the French Revolution, claiming in his 1790 Reflections on the Revolution in France that by its radicalism it threatened the very order of society. Burke viewed society as an organic whole, not amenable to sudden change. The American Revolution and Britain's Glorious Revolution did not directly threaten long-established rights, but merely corrected some clear deformities in the system. In particular, they did not threaten the rights of property. But the situation in France, with its violent overthrow of the Ancien Regime, the ancient regime, was clearly different. Burke's opposition caused Paine to defend his position. He replied with "the rights of man," printed in early 1791. Despite official censorship, it became the best known and widest circulated of all English defenses of the Revolution in France. Paine argued for the rights of every generation to remake its political and social institutions as it saw fit, not bound by existing authority. A hereditary monarch had no claim to superiority over this right. Rights, not property, were the only hereditary principle transmitted across the generations. A second part to the pamphlet, published in 1792, argued for a major program of social welfare. By the end of the year, the 2 volumes had sold 200,000 copies. That's a lot of copies. That's close to that's like Bible size selling stuff. Under threat of prosecution and with church and king mobs burning his figure in effigy, Paine offered a still more radical step. Imagine you wrote out "Vive la Révolution" on napkins, and then you handed those napkins out, and your face is on the other side of the napkin, so you can't get away with "you wrote out Vive la Révolution." So now your napkins are everywhere, and because your napkins are everywhere, pamphlets are essentially napkins. Because they're everywhere, because you spread out napkins, now people are burning effigies of you. Because you know how to write. Vive la revolution! You are now being burned in effigy. Humans are crazy wild humans, aren't we? His letter addressed to the addressers on the late proclamation was written against the numerous rotten boroughs and corporation addresses that had published the royal proclamation against seditious libel, the writing and printing of texts that attacked the state. I will attack the state if I want. Paine, denouncing this and other abuses as a new tyranny, called for an elected national convention to draft a new republic constitution for England. This was a direct call for revolution in all but name, taking France's Republican National Convention as its model. Listen to Paine over here. He's like, dude, I broke America. I broke France. You want me to break you too? Holy crap, Paine. This is a direct call for revolution in all but name, taking France's Republican National Convention as its model. Paine had returned to France shortly before the address was published, and in his absence was found guilty of seditious libel. The argument in the address is brief, but tackles Burke head on. Although England's Bill of Rights of 1689 gave guarantees about the rights all subjects would enjoy in a constitutional monarchy, it was open to abuse. Paine detailed some of the most obnoxious instances of corruption, but he wanted to go further and tackle the system itself. By defending hereditary property as the supreme law, the system drove the corruption and abuse. The tyranny of William Pitt's government was a direct result of its defense of property. I guess William Pitt was leading England at the time. I don't know. Let's get after it. At the top of the regime was a hereditary monarch, and Parliament acted merely as a defense of crown and property. Reform of the corrupt Parliament was not enough. The whole system had to be transformed from top down. Paine asserted that sovereignty should not lie with the monarch, but with the people. Look at Paine, just guns blazing, folks. Here we go. Shots fired. Who have an absolute right to make or unmake laws and governments as they see fit. The existing system contained no mechanism to allow the people to change the government. It was, therefore, necessary, Paine argued, to sidestep the system by electing a new assembly, a national convention, as in France. If this looks familiar, but 60 years later, America's going to take their stab at this. Paine attempted to popularize an argument made by Rousseau that the general will of the people should be sovereign in a nation, and that with transparent and fair elections to the convention, private interests and corrupt practices would be squeezed out. Universal male suffrage would determine the delegates to the convention. Ladies still ain't voting. And those delegates would be charged with drafting a new constitution for Britain. It was England's property qualification for voting that Paine held most responsible for the corruption and venality of the electoral system. Only in a system where the rights of both rich and poor were equally considered would each respect the other and neither seek to rob the other. What does he mean? What do we mean by property rights to vote? Or property qualifications? I don't remember any of the specifics, but even in America for a long time, until 60 to 70 years later, when we started really kicking things into revolutionary gear and fixing how we look at things, you had to own property in order to vote. And for a long time, ladies weren't allowed to own property. And so if you're not allowed to own property, you're not allowed to vote. You know what? Ladies can vote all they want, but you got to own property. And you can't. We're never going to sell you anything. And so, like, it was pretty wild, pretty wicked, the games, But every once in a while, you'd have a lady that would get, some property, like, she'd be able to buy it, or would be, and she'd inherit it, and like, oh, there she is, like, she becomes, like, she can vote. So that's, that happens. But for the most part, it was geared against any of that happening. And so we kind of borrowed that from Britain, where it was like and even then, England was like, but you have to own a certain amount of land, and so they went from like, oh, you can't own your driveway, and then you can tell us what to do. You have to own like 3 driveways, and they just moved the goalposts, and it's just really just horrible. But for people that can't read or write and they don't know what the hell's going on beyond trying to pick a potato in order to survive, you just kind of learn to go with it, So it's kind of wild. Paine's short pamphlet never quite achieved the success of either Common Sense or The Rights of Man. But the radical argument presented in the address for a republic, a new constitution, a national convention elected by universal male suffrage, formed the core of reformers' demands in Britain for the next 50 years. Yeah! That sounds like a lot of fun, actually! The London Corresponding Society from the 1790s onward called for a national convention. The Chartists of the 1840s actually held a national convention, which thoroughly alarmed the authorities, and the hated property qualification for voting was eventually removed in the 1867 Second Reform Act. It was in Paine's adopted countries of America and France that his ideas had the most impact. Perhaps especially in the United States, where he is credited as one of the founding fathers of the independence and the Constitution, and where his writings swayed thousands toward the cause of democracy and republicanism. Let's read a little bio of Thomas Paine here. Thomas Paine was born in Thetford, England, or Tetford, Thetford. If I do it in my English accent, I'm going to say Thomas Paine was born in Thetford, England. Oh, I'm going to say Thetford, not Tetford. Having lost his job as a tax collector. Okay, all right. He immigrated to America in 1774, having lost his job as a tax collector after agitating for better pay and conditions. So we got our own Peter, or Paul. Was it Paul? Was it Simon became Paul? With a recommendation from Benjamin Franklin, he became editor of a local magazine in Pennsylvania. Wow. Common Sense was published in 1776. So this guy had access to a printing press. That's how he's able to publish these things. Selling 100,000 copies in 3 months among a colonial population of 2 million. Almost everybody should know about this damn pamphlet. That's awesome. In 1781, Paine helped to negotiate large sums from the French king for the American Revolution. France paid for us. Returning to London in 1790 and inspired by the French Revolution, he wrote The Rights of Man, which led to a charge of seditious libel. After fleeing to France, he was elected to the National Convention there and avoided execution during the Terror. France had like a year or two of terror where they basically guillotined all the rulers. He returned to America in 1802 at President Jefferson's invitation and died 7 years later in New York. Dude, Tom, come on back, my guy. We're not going to execute you, okay, my guy? Just don't write any silly, crazy stuff about us, okay? Shh, quiet. Shh, quiet. And thus, America was born. Poof. Oh, say, can't. I'm not gonna do it. I don't know if I should. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on now, don't make me do the rip. You don't want to do the rest of it, okay? Nobody wants. It's gonna get dramatic. I might have added a couple of nares in there. And then, like, and the home of the brave and the free, right? Alright, folks. Tad. I don't know if you guys know who Tad is. If you remember who Tad is, Tad will be here in a minute or two. I got a long day. I'm just kind of stalling from the work that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm stalling, and we're Jimmy Nasalix, Jimmy Nasal Hendrix, trying to do like a little. Gave proof through the night. Let's hug it out, folks. Let's hug it out. We got a lot of work to do. Let me show you. Let me show you real quick. What the hell? Oh, wait, all that stuff is gone? Yeah. That's where all the fights were. Okay? That's where all the fights were. And that's where, like, it was just ridiculous, okay? And I'm glad, like, Cafe Curb Rat is Curb Rat, okay, it's gone. We're shutting her down, okay? So, like, everybody can just get out of here, alright? So let's hug it out. And then, hopefully by this time next week, this whole situation back here, you're never going to see again, folks. Here, I'm going to give you a minute. Let's give it a minute. Boop, there's the whole, like, that's the minute. There's the minute, alright? There's the minute. We're scrolling out. Alright, scroll me out here, so let's hug it out. And then, like, so that's the minute. There's the Mush Lounge. That's it. We're out of here. Alright? Let's get out of here, my friends. Let's get out of here. Let's go home. Let's go home. Go home, folks. All right, let's go home. All right. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Leno. Good morning. All right. Hold on. Let's do the scroll out. Let's go on. Hold on. Let's do the scroll out. Boop a doop to do. Let's go on. Da 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 da. And do da 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 do. Hold on. Let's go do da 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 do. Coming on down. Let's do da 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 do. And let's close these reading the big ideas, Ron. Okay, so Derek, I appreciate you're still exploring. Mushmouth! Yeah, let's start with saying good morning to Mushmouth and scrolling on out of here. So let's do that. Good morning, Mushmouth, and I'm glad you're here, my friend. Good morning, Never! Good morning, Never! Good morning, Jesus Christ. Good morning. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Kim Bolden. Oh, my God. Good morning, Mr. 420. Oh, my God. Oh, my friends. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. Left-handed guitar. Oops, wrong words. I'm sledding. No, that's actually the right words, Jesus Christ. I think you said the correct ones. There's Classic. Good morning, Classic. Okay, thanks so much for going back to sleep. I am sorry about that. Not at all. All right. Sorry, nasal Hendrix. Absolutely, Hendrix. Wait a second, B. Hendrix. Good morning, B. Hendrix. Good morning. All right, let's get out of here. We've got carnivorous. Good. I want that and that. And come on. I tell you what, people were trying to like sneak into the garage, and I'm like, dude, I've been in this garage for 3 years. All right, I know what you want because I have it. All right, and it's still in here. Get out. You know, get out. Herbie Von Werby, have a great day. You too, Herbie. Nurse Ratchet, I wish I could get that table. I know. I wish you could come get the table too. All right. And Niffer Mama with the emotes, Livy, Niffer, you two with the right. We all Herbie and we've got fights like dry hugging and out. What's a dry hug? What's a dry hug? Curb rats, you know it, Bill. All right, we've got Sanum. I just blocked up Jesse. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, we've got Mushmouth redacting us. All right, don't do that, Mushmouth. It's fine. And Derek Anderson up to the minute with Brock Lot. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? Carnivorous and the Niffer Mama and the Shy. Hi, Shy with the wow. I know, right? You saw the picture. Gone. Out of here. Pops will tell you a really cool story about how we we seeded someone's world with. There we go. Let's say it like that instead of the way that I like to say we got rid of all our shit. You know, Kim Bolden, good times were had in that Mush Lounge. Yes, they were. Mushmouth, I'm getting there, Mushmouth. I'm trying. All of you people talking to me. Niffer Mama, everyone have a beautiful day. See you all. Absolutely. Mushmouth, the emotes, the Waz with the emotes. Billy, have a great day. JC, Mr. 420, peace out. Yo, Anthony T, have a great day, everyone. Nerd Nature, love you, Mushman. Super fun on your day. B. Hendrix, take good care of yourself and be kind to one another. Shine Short, have a great day, everyone. Lord Divine, have a fabulous day. Good morning, Lord Divine. Good morning. I love you. Michael Hansen, Shanti Michael, Shanti Brock and crew. Jesse Deems, have a good day. Kimberly Bolden, have a great Monday. Different Mama Laura with the hugs. And we're going to get the hugs. I swear to God, we're going to get the hugs. All right, Derek Anderson, thank you, Brock, and everyone for an awesome morning. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bill D, much love, much wham. Cancel, have a great day. Oh, Jesus Christ, early, I'm only third to Kim. You're second to Kim. Mushmouth, much love to friend Sandman, have a good one, fam. Come check it out. And Classic with the site, and Classic with the emotes and the page, and everyone have a great day. And we've got Sean's non-existent hairline. Your face is melting. I know. It's starting to kick in. Shark C, you look like Brad Pitt. That's a shame. I am better looking than Brad Pitt. You take that back. You take those hurtful words away. Let's go. Dakota, talking amongst. Okay, Bill D. Thanks for the morning. Thank you, Bill. Kim Bolden garage sale leftovers. Make great prizes. Hold up! Don't get out! Don't get out! I mean, never mind with the emotes and the Jesus Christ with the dry hug and the Mr. 420. There's a bat in the kit. Good. At least someone has a home. Alright, I'm kidding there, Mr. 420. Mike Barabal with the emotes in the body rock. Can see Mike Barabal, Bill D with the have a good day, Mike. Never mind with the morning beat. And hey Zeus and the Derek Anderson with the Jesus Christ and the Zoo Letterman and who is that? Is that Don Fike? Don Fike? Is it just what? And we got the Mike and we got the Jesus Christ. My God. Can we just stop? Just stop talking to me. Just stop, all of you. Derek Anderson. Okay, alright. Okay, don't stop talking to me. It's all a joke. I love all of you. Even Kim Bolden, okay? Even Kim. Despite all the crap I talk about her, alright? Despite all the billboards I paid that have been like, you know what? You think you're learning physics with Kim Bolden? Nope. All you're learning is math. Applied. Tug it out. We got math. I mean, isn't it right? Isn't that what physics is? It's just math applied. Okay. We've got your left hand here. You got your right hand here. You got your left hand holding on right there, and then you got your right hand holding on there, and then you do a little twist, and then you shake it all about. All right. On the count of three, let's go. I'm gonna go not in any order, but no, let's not do that, because then it would just be like top three like huggers, and it's just gonna be mush mouth. And I really don't want to be rude. So let's go on the count of three. Top other three. No, let's not do it, because then it's just gonna be lower. All right. Let's just go 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2, 3, and then hug it out, okay? And let's not focus on, all right? But, like, our best huggers are going to do their job, all right? So let's get this, all right? 1, 2, 3, and if you need a hug, get a hug. And then you can give a hug back. When's the last time you heard that? I haven't said that in a long time. Give a hug, get a hug, right? Come on now. Let's do this. One there. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there it is. Oh, hey, right there. Oh, like someone's got their arms all the way around. Someone's got like all the way wrapped around. Oh, that one felt good. That one's nice. Okay, keep going. Like, you don't have to squeeze that. Wait, hey, come on now. That's my rib. Ow. All right. No, it's okay. You didn't hurt me or anything. You just like maybe you hurt someone. You just settle down a little bit, guy. All right, it's a hug. You ain't got. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, cool. I love you guys.